jump off. You'll know why.
Hi, everybody. Hey. How you doing? Hey, Kerrie. How are you?
Doing good.
What was that, a little dance?
I don't know, just, getting into it.
Well, waiting on people to join. Go to coopedup.com to see what I do here and sign up for my email updates. I'm Cooped Up is my handle in most places. Kerrie, hers is Food Sparks in most places. Wherever you are watching or listening to this, be sure to click the bell to get notified when I post new content. And lastly, but not leastly, if you ever want to, is that a word, leastly? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
21, I need a little bouncing ball. 214-949-8599.
You do need a bouncing ball.
Random stuff to that one. So, hey, Mama.
Hey, Mama Cooper.
So, anyway, so how's your day going?
It's good. Weird. I'm trying to share the video. Oh, there it goes. It's like, it's being really slow. Are we on? It was acting like it wasn't going to post the video. It's good, man. It's Wednesday, right? Feels like a week's worth of shit in 2.5 days.
I know, same. And then actually I'm off on Friday and Monday. So I'm trying to cram. We have parent-teacher conferences in the morning on Friday, and then we have global entry interviews. The wishful list of wishful thinking.
Well, it's so quick though. I mean, I know you got to take Todd and your kids and everything, but like you are in and out when you go do global entry. Like they ain't fucking around. They're like fingerprints, picture.
I have the kids back to back. I've already got mine, but I have the kids back to back, and then we're driving to Kerrville that afternoon. So, and the weather's changed.
Another one of your mini things, right?
The high's gonna be 58.
Yeah, it's gonna be. We're getting a little chilly
on Saturday, but the place that we're staying is a water park, basically. Like it is. We're like, so we'll figure it out.
Oh, that's right. I was asking if the kids were going to use it. They'll swim, but now it's going to be chillier. Maybe not.
Well, they're pretty. The kids, if they heat the water up enough, the kids are brave. They'll have blue lips by the end of it.
Oh, this is the kind where they can actually heat the water. Okay.
I guess. I don't know if they can. I don't know, but like.
Is this like an outdoor Great Wolf Lodge situation?
No, it's not that big. It's just a Jellystone. It's like a Yogi Bear kind of park. It's the theme, and it was the only thing that was available within like 5 hours of driving from Dallas. This weekend, for some reason, everything was booked, and all of that. So, I remembered what else I was going to talk about. So, okay, first thing I wanted to talk to you about. Air fucking caught. What is up with that? So haircuts.
Because I saw your post and I was like, what?
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, maybe you're not in Texas or maybe you just haven't been clued in on this yet. ERCOT, which is the organization that manages our utilities here in Texas, the one that had the complete and total breakdown and failure in February, yesterday sent out a notice saying, hey, we're in an emergency situation again. We are almost at maximum capacity. We need y'all to start conserving energy. We're not going to do rolling blackouts yet, but they may be coming. Yesterday. And it was like the most gorgeous day ever yesterday. I don't think everyone was even running their air conditioner and such. So turns out it was because there's still a bunch of stuff offline. There's a bunch of stuff that they maintain as a regular schedule in April. And then also there's a lot of people working from both home and work, right? So it used to be everyone would leave their house. So the energy would go down and then they'd go to the office. Well, now that people are going back to the office and some are like pretty soon, I'm going to be at the office and Todd's still going to be here at the house. So it'll be double trouble, right?
Yeah.
And so there is a lot of that going on. And then even earlier today, they sent out a thing saying we are approaching it. It's not an emergency situation yet. I get their stuff on Facebook. ERCOT, let's see. But it's like we're not going to ask for conservation measures, but where is that pages? And by the way, their ERCOT is short for Electric Reliability Council of Texas.
Might want to consider rebranding there.
Today, tight grid conditions today, but no conservation appeal. Balancing system reliability during off-peak seasons requires balanced approach.
We've been home for a year now, and nobody's. I mean, I'm running my AC because I live in a high rise and it's just on anyway, but not in my living room because I freeze during the day while I work. But my bedroom. But if we've already been working from home for a year and they're having issues right now, what are they going to do in June or July when it's freaking blazes
Well,
hot?
they're saying now that it's because it's off season, and so they take things offline to fix them and repair them, and we have a lot of other stuff offline already, and all that kind of. All I'm thinking is it's about to be time to take care of yourself, bitches.
Yeah, you got about 4 days left of that off season in Texas, which lasts about 10 days.
Yes.
And we're going to be right into summer. So
yeah. So, but my thing is, I'm like, I told Todd, I was like, Todd, do we have gas for the generator? Is the generator ready to go? Do we have it powering the right things now? Because we switched it in the wintertime to power the pool so the pool wouldn't explode.
Freeze.
A lot of people's pools did. But that takes 2 of the 6 circuits that the generator controls. I'm like, let's pull those bitches off and put them on something else now.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have
like
to
the
figure
refrigerator and the air conditioning. Want to eat and stay cool.
We have ours. We have one of the air conditioning systems. We have the one on this end of the house where it's got the kids' bedrooms, my office, and the big family room, that zone. Because we could sleep on the couch if we need to, all that kind of stuff. We've got one for that. We've got one for internet. Because, bitches got to have internet. And then we have the refrigerator, freezer downstairs. We have the upstairs kitchen as well. And it fills up, right? So
yeah,
my mom was saying she didn't get that message. They just put it on social, and then it kind of went viral on social. And Sandy's saying she has not been running her AC for a week at least. We have been running the AC because allergies are some people are like, I've had the windows open. I'm like, I'd have the most swollen, I'd have some like beat ass Mike Tyson got in a fight with me eyes if I did that.
Yeah. And the humidity, I can't. It just gets too, no, I can't.
Yeah. Tawana lost power yesterday. And Tawana, my office over on Bishop was out the entire day tomorrow, almost from like 11 in the morning until like 7 at night. Received a text from Encore. Not sure if that was related. I was not home. Yeah, same thing. I got a text. And then Spectrum texted me also, which leads me to believe it was actually like a line failure because there's no reason that Spectrum would be also impacted by a power outage.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know how that works. So anyway.
I'll just sit over here during all this and like be nice and keep my mouth shut. Because if you remember during Ice-mageddon and Power-mageddon, I was like one of the only high rises on Turtle Creek that was still lit bright as a Christmas tree every night while everyone else was going through rolling blackout. So I'm like,
You'll have generators or something? Like
we all do. Yeah, they all have generators. But so where this stretch of land is, where all these high rises are in Turtle Creek, used to be the old Jesuit property.
Yeah.
That's why all of them are named. Like our building has a name, like an address and all that, but people call it 21 Turtle Creek. And then the office buildings are like 1 and 2 Turtle Creek. There's like whatever the stanchions and posts of land were that the Jesuits had, that's the number of the land. So we happen to be sitting right on the part where the school was, and it happens to be on the end of the Encore loop. So it's like even when the whole block power's down, we go boom, we come right back up. So
okay.
We've never had a problem with that because it's like being in a hospital grid, being on the loop of the hospital grid. Yeah. Same thing.
Valerie is great. I'll stick it in my disaster plan for our next quarter, providing emergency food because of fridges, electric stoves, microwaves. She works for the food bank, by the way. Disaster definitions are getting very broad, man. I know. And part of me wonders if they're doing this. So here's the thing that is really messing my brain up on all of this. So our state legislature is in session right now. They only meet like every 2 years to keep crazy from doing things.
Keep the lights on, but not really.
Yeah. And they're not addressing this at the moment. They're addressing, can those 6 transgender children who want to play sports in our state? Like 6 kids, like that's and non-existent voter fraud. Like it is just like driving me nuts. Anyway, another big news item that came out today, literally came out today, was I don't watch The Bachelor, but I know you have started watching The Bachelor. Well, one of the most recent Bachelors, Colton Underwood, I think is his name, little cutie patootie, has come out as gay. He came out on Good Morning America this morning with Robin Roberts, who's also of the homosexual persuasion, and came out and seemed very apologetic. I only watched little bits and pieces of it because I don't know him from Adam. Today honestly might have been the first time I've associated that name with him. Colton Underwood to me is more likely to be a porn star than a reality TV star, but
or a country singer.
Or a country singer. But the more I'm seeing stuff come out, what messed me up about it is it would have been different if he were like season 1 through 5 of The Bachelor, like a long time ago. And and has come to terms with this since then. Because I will offer tons of grace to people who are coming out. And sometimes the things they do in defense of themselves or to try to convince themselves or to convince the world or whatever, I can totally get on board that sometimes you do things that maybe are not like the best thing to do, but yeah. But literally he was like 2 seasons ago. Like last season was the black guy, and then he was the one before that, right?
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
That's also
my first time watching was
that's also how fucked up The Bachelor is. Is that the one with the black guy? Or was that one of the other 18 seasons?
It was a big deal because it was the very first black guy they ever had. And you're like, oh my God, they've been doing like 20 seasons of this. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I watched this season, because I wanted to see, because that was their first black Bachelor. I don't know as though I'll ever watch again. It was interesting, but it was equal parts interesting and cringeworthy to watch these women get so butthurt and fight over this man. But to your point, the fact that
what's the time frame?
Someone jump in. I'm not really sure. It's
Are we talking 90 days or less? Or are we talking 30?
Oh yeah. It's like they make it seem like it's a long time, but I think it's a couple months tops, maybe.
Really?
Tops. Mm-hmm.
That is crazy.
And this time was boring because they had to keep them all in the same place because of COVID. So they had them all.
Yeah.
They had them all quarantine and keep them together, and then
that's what RuPaul's Drag Race did too. They did a whole.
Yeah, it was really kind of nuts because they were like coming up with all these dates for them that were stupid because they were on the property.
Yeah.
So my friends told me, no, you should watch a real season where they get to go and do stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but the whole premise of these women, like their whole base of their existence and their love and their heart hinging on whether or not they're going to be chosen. And then as it gets closer to the end, they get so upset about, so, once they have what they call, this other girl, they have what they call overnight dates. So when it gets down to the last 3, they have these overnight dates. So what I said to you is like, if I was any one of those 3 women that went on an overnight date with him, because they always sleep with each other on the overnight dates, I'm like, I'd be pissed because damn well he was already gay.
Swerve on with his men's.
So I'm sure that's coming next. Comments from the 3 women that were on these overnight dates with him, in addition to the one he totally ended up with.
Well, yeah, and I was reading that he had COVID and she took care of him, and they now have a restraining order. She has a restraining Cassie, something like that, has a restraining order against him and all this kind of stuff. So that just he was probably spinning out at that point, trying to find his identity. I mean, I have friends who were married, who were sleeping with male hookers on the side, and all messed up. But like I don't condone the action, but I can understand that action happening because of just the way the whole process is, and supposedly this guy is super conservative too. Might have been like a Trumper or something, and all of that. And so. So Danita's saying it's 8 weeks-ish. Plus,
it's like a couple months.
Towards the end,
And these girls bring all these dresses, and oh my God.
Well, and aside from it just not being a good show, in my opinion, I never watched it because I had been told my entire adult life that me getting married to Todd would have sullied the sanctity of marriage, or was like disrespecting the institution, whatever. Meanwhile, these people are literally, it's like, I also don't like that show like 90 Day Fiance. I don't like any of these shows where they're matching people up real quick on like a game show format, because to me it is like, you can't support that and then be opposed to what time I have at all. Makes no sense. So I've never been on board with that. But he's supposedly,
if I go black for a second, I'm just doing a thumbs up on an email.
Okay. He already has a Netflix series in the works. They're doing
This guy, the guy that came out.
Colton Underwood he's already signed on with Netflix to have a reality show, and I don't know reality show. I don't know if it's a reality show or if it's one of these like reality documentary kind of things. I don't know, but supposedly Gus Kenworthy, what's his name? The cutie patootie from the Olympics. He's like a snowboarder or something, and he is going to be his like gay guide, like showing him how things work. Maybe literally and figuratively, but anyway, the whole thing.
Showing him how things work, the plumbing and everything.
Is ABC ready for the Bachelors? I don't know.
That's a good point. That's one of the reasons why I don't watch the show. As I watched it, I get why people get sucked in. Believe me, I got sucked in. Was watching it with friends and texting at the same time, so that part was fun. But the whole underlying, there's just an oogie factor about it that I'm like, well, it's the behavior of the women over one man, and then it's the diversity. Like, why don't we have a gay version of The Bachelor? We've gone 20 seasons. You're just now. I think it was only been in the last 3 seasons maybe they put a black woman as a bachelorette.
Why isn't there a largely black episode? Because then that would be the black season, right? Because a show full of white people is just a show, but a show full of black people is a black show. That just kills me too. Well, and
that was a big thing at the very beginning of the season with Matt, the black guy, that he comes from a mixed race family. So I think they chose him because he was mixed race, right? So they could play both sides of that coin. But that was the very first thing that when a lot of
people don't consider a mixed race white. There's a whole thing. This book I read.
No. I'm saying I think that's why they chose him.
I know what you're saying. I think it's probably because his physical features were a little bit more appealing to them, maybe. But in this book that I've read called Caste, The Origins of Our Discontents, fantastic book, talks all about like the caste system that we have in America, which we very much do, whether we admit it or not, according to like the definition of this book, and all of that, that in most white circles, one drop of black blood negates the other 99%. So if you are mixed race, white people will never consider you white. You will always be mixed race or black.
Yeah.
And the black people a lot of times won't accept you either because you are mixed race or not black enough. But you're never white though. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah, and I think they chose a mixed race guy because I can't speak to the Bachelorette, the one who was black. I didn't watch that season. I don't know if she was mixed. But I think they chose it because right off the top in the very first episode, when Chris Hansen talks to him and asks him about some of his concerns about being on the show, he talks about, I know there's a part of America that wants me to choose a black girl and a part of America that wants me to choose a white girl. And he was like, and he addressed it head on. He kind of said it, but I was like, thinking,
I picked the boy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So there's like a whole nother part of the dichotomy of the show that they sort of mixed in there. And I'll be damned if at the end of the show, the 3 girls that it came down to, it was a white girl, which is the one he ended up choosing. Rachel, we all knew he was going to choose, which is the one that got in trouble. Do you know that? Where they went back and found pictures of her from her sorority days and she dressed up in some plantation party. So this all happened within like the first 4 episodes. And so everybody knew this. We had to wait to the end to see who we picked, but it came down to her. She's white, a black girl. And I think this other girl was either Latina or maybe mixed like with Latina and something else, Hispanic and something else. Anyway, so it's like he chose the rainbow, right? But we knew the whole time he was going to go for the white girl. And they actually were cute together when they had the show where they, talk about it. When they came back to the show, they were like, no, we're not together. And Matt put on this big front of like, I can't deal with what happened. And like, he just looked very forlorn and hurt. And she did too. Well, then like a week ago, there's all these Instagram sites out that find them together. There's a picture snapped of them together hanging out.
Really?
Yeah, because he didn't want to come out and say, hey, I'm sticking up for her, because he didn't want to have to be the get all the riffraff, the back and forth and the rap, or what am I trying to say? The
Uncle Tom, isn't that what they call that?
That they would give him riffraff. What am I trying to say? Anyway, he didn't want to put up with the grief, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Valerie's talking about when she was yesterday at the state capitol. Actually, did see you there on your Facebook or Instagram, Valerie. She said to enter the Capitol, you have to get a COVID test or show your card to get in, and you must wear a mask. The hypocrisy of it, because that's so crazy. Because all these people are, literally, Texas legislature is like the textbook definition of, we elect the crazy people so that we know where they all are every other year.
Like you say, we don't hide crazy in the South. We put it on the front porch and give it a glass of iced tea. That's what we do in Texas.
Yeah, we put it in the state house.
Wasn't it Cruz last week when everyone's wearing a mask and he won't wear a mask and he's like, no, I have to wear one.
Well, that's the thing. So that's what she's saying, is that all these politicians are so anti-mask, but you know what? You got to get your COVID test and show a card to see them. That's so crazy. And wear a mask. Crazy.
Well, anyway, that's my extent of knowledge on Bachelor, really. It's just
okay. Now let's talk about something fashion related. So, okay, Kerrie. All of the things. So we've seen the thing that the side part is out and the middle part is in for women.
No.
I think it's stupid. But also now they have declared that skinny jeans are out and bootcut jeans are in. I'm going to say this. Nope, not doing it. Fuck you.
And this comes from a bootcut loving girl. I finally just got rid of all mine probably 5 years ago and got adopted the skinny jean because I never wanted to because I'm a big girl and I thought those aren't going to look good on me.
Yeah.
But it's come a long way for plus size girls. But
so I don't like
I'm not going back.
I don't like the crazy skinny stuff. Like I wear slim cut. I have some that are skinny fit just because that's what their name was. And they have stretch in them and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not wearing the kind where you can see my moose knuckle and exactly. and my kneecaps and all of that kind of stuff. Like it's not that. But when you are as tall as so you and I have different problems but the same solution, right? So first of all, fitted is always better. I just think generally speaking, fitted clothes look better on everybody. It doesn't matter what you are. Agree. But when you are 6.5 feet tall like me, and you got and they're long, thin legs, you don't want to put a bunch of fabric on them. You don't want it all flared and stuff. You end up looking like Shaggy. Like and I'm not talking about it wasn't me, Shaggy. I'm talking about Shaggy.
Shaggy. Yeah, and as a tall girl, plus size girl, fitting into before they started making like the skinny jeans, in the plus sizes, or with stretch, because the whole point is stretch. You were like, by the time you hefted these jeans up, like Beyonce says, if you don't got to jump to put jeans on, you don't feel my pain. But by the time you got them up to where they needed to be, the bell bottom was, or the belt, the boot was too short, like the butt,
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to that style. And I was big in it. Like I don't want to cut jeans.
We are listening to the generation who also ate Tide Pods.
This is true.
This is so true. And Monica, my sister, is a side part with skinny jeans kind of girl.
Same. I can't do a middle part. It doesn't look right on me.
I just think it looks like a butt on most people.
I look like a librarian. I know. I'm like, army.
The only way I see the only way I like a center part is like with a ponytail or something. Like
or super straight hair. If you have super straight, flat ironed hair all day long.
Like Jan Brady.
Yeah.
Like that kind of hair.
Like Jan Brady, yeah. Kelly and I are in the same camp. No part. Hair in a bun, no part. Kelly.
Just a mess.
Rocking that look. Kelly curls hers and it's nice and lovely. Mine's not. Mine's just whatever natural curl happens to be happening today. But I'm rocking no part for the last year and I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
My hair has seen the curling iron 3 times in 14 months.
Did you see?
I know. I like it.
A little bit less obvious than I did before. So,
did your hairdresser come into town?
No, I have a new hairdresser now. And then what else was I going to tell? Bobby Brown was on Red Table Talk. So first of all, if y'all don't know what Red Table Talk is, it is a Facebook watch show. So it is a show hosted by Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife, her mother, whose name I don't remember, and her daughter Willow. And 3 of them sit around a red table and they talk to different celebrities about very heavy issues. Usually it's about like acceptance and racism and all that kind of stuff, right?
You may remember the entanglement fiasco where she talked about her relationship while she was married to Will Smith.
Yeah, I think it is a fantastic show. It's so smart. I like the three levels of family dynamic. All of this. And there's only been one that I've watched where I was just like, nope. And it was the Lori Loughlin's daughter.
That's one of the ones I actually watched that I liked.
No, I think she was just so, I didn't like her. I don't like her on it.
She kind of held her own because Jada Pinkett's mom was like, I don't want this girl on this show. And she came for her. Going
to apologize in front of the black women. Exactly. But then there was one that had, Kristen, who's from Sex and the City, played the like uptight one.
Oh, Kristen Cavallari? No, that's the other girl from.
No, that's a different show.
What's her name? Kristen.
I think it's Kristen something. But anyway,
similar.
The one who was the Jewess on or converted to Judas on, and then had the babies, right? The Upper East Side.
She played Charlotte.
Oh, Charlotte, yes, that was it. So she was on it, and she was talking about directing or adopting. She has black children, adopting black children. And there's a lot of controversy in the black community about white people and the hero mentality and all that stuff of taking black kids and then raising them as white kids culturally, right? Talked about that. It was fascinating, so educational. I mean, I always learn something watching these, right? Kristen Davis, thank you, Pam. That's her name.
Davis, yes.
And Pam also did not like that one with the Giuliani girl. What's her name? Giuliani.
I can't remember. Yeah. I just like the dialogue that they had. She was kind of mousy, but in the end, at least Jada's mom changed her mind about her, which I thought was good.
Well, that's good. Well, she does tend to have like these kind of. The mom usually starts coming in real rough, and then has like a breakthrough, and and that may be part of their shtick. I don't know.
Got it.
The days that I saw, and I don't know if it came out today. I got an alert that it came out, and I think that's why I saw it. Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown. Well, first of all, he comes on, and they made that Whitney Houston movie a while back, and it was basically just making him look like his shit don't stink, right? Well, he's on, and Whitney died, and they were divorced. I didn't realize that. I thought they were still together. When he died. So they were divorced. He kept referring to her as my ex-wife, and I was like, no, it's your late wife, but no, it's his ex-wife.
Yeah.
So Whitney died. Then Bobby Christina died the exact same way, face down in a bathtub with drugs in her system, and passed away 6 months later, though, after they couldn't get her out of a coma. Then his son has recently died from a drug overdose as well.
Really? Jeez.
And then he has 2 older children who he has grandchildren already. Bobby Brown is a grandfather.
First of all, how
and
old
then
are these
younger children also. So he's like 6 kids. He had 6 kids.
So the older ones, obviously, he was cheating on Whitney and had him with other people?
I guess. I don't know.
What are their ages? Because Bobby Christina was barely in her 20s when she died. Barely, maybe. Was she even legal?
These people are in like their 30s, so maybe it was before. Maybe it was before Whitney. Anyway,
they got together in like 89, 87.
Either way, so there's a lot of stuff on it that Whitney's no angel. So we saw in the movie that Whitney introduced the drugs to the thing. Well, then they showed a clip of Whitney's brother admitting to Oprah Winfrey that he's the one who actually introduced drugs to Whitney and confirmed that Whitney was already on drugs before she even knew who Bobby Brown was.
Yes.
And he had kids prior to Whitney, Crystal is saying.
Okay, thanks, Crystal.
And so there was that. And then he basically, Bobby Christina, earlier the night that she had the thing, she had her tooth kicked out by her boyfriend. They were domestic abusing each other, or he to her at least.
Yeah.
And died of the exact same drug. And so Bobby actually thinks that he accused this boy, who has since died also, of a drug overdose, heroin overdose.
That's right. He did die, didn't he?
Yeah. He's accusing that boy of being the one who provided drugs to Whitney that killed her and to Bobby Christina. He says he killed both of my important women in my life, right? Like that. And then the latest death in his life, his son died of drugs that are laced with fentanyl. And I
Bad.
didn't notice. And that's how Prince died. That's how
Yes.
all these other people died. And Willow Smith chimes in and she was like, yeah, all the kids of my generation are trying to find the hardest, fastest high they can. And fentanyl is on the list.
They're speedballing. That's like a big, remember speedball used to be something you worked up to?
I don't know. I know nothing.
It's when you mix fentanyl with, other things, or you mix like cocaine with heroin, you're speedballing two things together.
Well, that's so he died of the fentanyl overdose because they showed the amount of it that it takes to kill you. It's like you could dust a pill with it and it's like enough to kill you.
And it acts so differently in everybody's bodies. That's why people die, because they don't know there's not a tolerance for fentanyl, because you just never know what's going to happen.
It's harder than heroin, right?
Well, yeah, different in different ways, but yeah, heroin.
It's addictive because it's an actual opioid and all that kind of stuff too. But you're right, it reacts differently. So you could be going in and have foaming at the mouth or having your kidneys fall out or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, we don't know what it is," and it's all from this thing. Bobby is 19 years recovered from narcotics. He's 1 year recovered from alcohol. He went in, so basically he got recovered cold turkey because he had to go to jail for 60 days. That's how he got over narcotics. But then he went into a 12-step program, as did Jada Pinkett Smith's mother, is like 20 years in recovery as well, talking about this. And he's talking about he would just be so drunk, he would just piss the floor in his pants in front of his kids. And finally he was like, it's too much. And so he went and checked himself in. Then, so you have to watch this whole thing. His new wife comes on, who's been around forever. He met her back in his, what was the group's name?
New Edition.
New Edition days. And then they were friends.
Can
and then
you stand the rain? Sorry.
Oh, I like every step I take.
Well, that's Bobby. New Edition is Can You Stand the Rain.
Every little step I make. He's so good. But that was already Bobby, right? That wasn't New Edition.
Yeah, that's Bobby. Yeah.
But the Bobby. So anyway, this woman comes on. I don't remember her name. Marissa, maybe Alicia, Alyssa. I don't know. So smart, so good. Like I was like, man, this woman is legit, and she is making him get his shit together.
I heard that.
I gotta watch it.
Poor guy. I mean,
and that's basically out of it thinking, man, grief sandwich, man.
I'll go watch it because I'm laughing at Aaron's comment. He said, broadcasted live from the Aldi's, we're talking about drugs. The reason why I'm so, I've talked about the stuff, like the drugs and the interactions and all this, I'm obsessed with watching Intervention, and I have been for years. And I am also obsessed with people's behavior when they're on drugs. And I also have family background with the shit. And I come from Salsa, Oklahoma, the meth capital of the nation, which happened all after I left, right after I called college. Literally all the meth stuff with Oklahoma hit so hard.
Yeah.
But I get fascinated with those shows and what those people take and what all they have and combine and all that crap. But I tell people all the time, it's sick and disgusting. But when they have an alcoholism or cocaine use, somebody on it, I'm like, that's boring. I have to start out with heroin people. I'm like, you've at least got to be heroin on Intervention to get my attention. Oh, you're mixing fentanyl with it? Great. Oh, you're speedballing? Oh, you're huffing bath salts. Bring it on. Because those are the crazies, the freaking crazies. And their families all like, I don't enable them. Oh, I give her $60 a day. These people are spending $120 to $150 a day on drugs.
How do you even do that?
They find ways. Most of them are in the sex industry. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And the people that their family doesn't know they're doing it. They're like, I got to run down the street. You know what they're doing? They're giving handy J's and BJ's in the car down the street.
Handy J's?
Can you imagine having to hustle for $150 a day just to stick a needle in your arm, and it lasts you 2 to 6 hours depending on what you're doing?
That's why that is actually why I kind of have some sympathy for these folks. Or empathy. What's the right? I think empathy.
Empathy.
Is empathy where you didn't experience it, but you can feel for them? I think that's the right one. Yes.
Yeah, you're being empathetic towards.
Yes. Yeah. Empathetic is that's got to be that's got to be a really, really bad thing, like in your head. If that is the way you solve that problem, is you have to go do this every fucking day.
Every day.
Right?
And they talk about it because they've agreed to be on a show about intervention. Everyone knows now it's intervention. Back in the day, it used to be a surprise. Like, surprise, your family's here. And they've all written letters. But now people have kind of figured it out. But at the top of the show, they'll be like, yeah, I'm exhausted. Like, I'm just, and they're losing teeth. Hair, and they're just tired. Like, they're tired of the hustle, because it's a hustle. Like, it's a job to be a drug addict.
The life, yeah. My mom loves intervention. My mother also is the one who got my daughter hooked on My 600-Pound Life. Her loves that. The show
y'all know I only watch that when I eat bad food.
Yes. I can't handle that show because
it's awful.
I get so angry at them because I
can't handle the doctor. How did that short little squatty dumpy doctor in Houston become the fat doctor? Like,
well, no, not even that. For me, it's the people who are on the show who are like, I don't know how I got so fat, and then they take a drink directly from a 2-liter bottle of soda, and it's the 4th of the day, or they can't fucking get out of bed. They literally can't get out of bed. And the mom is like, oh, I don't know how he gets so fat. I mean, he just wants all this food. But like, I'm like, bitch can't get out of bed. Don't give it to him.
It's not normal to go to Taco Bell and order a dozen tacos and 2 nachos Bel Grande.
Yes.
And
so my whole thing is just the I actually am more angry at the other people who are enabling. They're like, well, he just cries and whines. And I'm like, shut the fucking door. Go, they chase you. I mean, you're gonna. It's not like.
I mean, you kind of have the upper hand here, Mom. You're 4'0" and you weigh like 92 pounds. I got a feeling you could just walk the fuck away and you're gonna be okay.
It's not like a scary movie where the woman is running full speed and Jason is walking one step at a time and somehow manages to catch up. Like, no, it doesn't.
This person gets winded going to the refrigerator when you don't bring it to them. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
If you just left the house, you're gonna be all right.
Here's the other thing for me. If I ever get to a point in my life where, other than like dementia or something actually like wrong with me, where people have to lift parts of my body to wash them for me,
I don't want to be around anymore.
No, like that's it for me. I'm already getting a little too chubby here, where I'm not seeing the whole business anymore, and I'm like, I am not there for that.
You're having to grab the small magnifying mirror like us girls do. We have to check out our hoo-ha and see what's going on.
I'm like, you okay down there? Yeah, okay.
Until you've hiked your foot on the side of the tub and put the mirror down there. Welcome to the women's world. Where our stuff's on the inside. We're constantly having to check it out. But yeah, the enablers kill me. They deal with it on intervention too. Like, the interventionist shows up and he's like, hey, half the problem is you guys. Because they have to lay down their laws. They have to say, if the person won't go to treatment, you're not going to let them back in the house. You're not going to give them any money. You're not going to let them see their child, whatever it might be.
There's a contract.
There's a contract, yeah. And so at the end of the show, I wait every time with breath that's bated for the little update that said, so-and-so finished 90 days of treatment, moved to sober living, and relapsed. And I'm like, damn it.
Oh, I know. They can't all be happy endings. The other show that Claire loves that I cannot handle, and I had to finally stop recording it because it was too much for me, is Hoarders. That show also is just nuh-uh.
No,
like, I'm like,
I can't do it.
How are you sleeping in a bed made of springs, literally just of springs at this point, and Cheetos wrappers, and you have to step over all, like how do you get to that point? Now, and I understand, and again, I can be empathetic to the thing about, like, you may be attaching emotional significance to things in a way that is unhealthy. And so, and I don't struggle from that. I am like not very sympathetic. I keep like you see them mostly here. These are my favorite things.
Yeah.
And then if the shelf gets full, I say, well, you're not as favorite as this. Bye.
Yeah.
But I can see how people do that. I can get that. what I can't get is, how does that apply to a half-empty carton of eggs? How does that apply to every shopping bag that you have ever brought home from the Winn-Dixie? Like, how does that, like, this is what I don't get. And so, and it is a mental illness. My mom is correct. It is a mental illness.
It is.
In cases.
It is.
And I don't know how, and here's the thing that I have learned from that show is the way you treat it is not to just kick them out of the house and clean, put them in a clean house.
And that's why I can't watch it, because they don't finish the house. The people keep going back and forth, bringing stuff in, and they have to stop and talk to them. That's why I can't do it, because I cannot operate at that capacity to help people at that capacity. And I know that about myself. If you're that codependent and you are not strong-willed at all, and you don't have any willpower, I just can't. I don't have the capacity to deal with it.
I have a lot of grace to people. I have a lot of, like, grace that's one of my favorite words. Like, I love every definition of the word grace. And one of the things is I offer a lot of people, I'm a very patient person, all of that. But also I am not going to be there for your psychotic break, right? So, like, if you were having a manic moment, know that I love you, but I am not the person you need to be calling. Like, I am not the right call to make.
I'm the same way. If you've already consulted with me or asked me advice or whatever, and you keep coming back to me and asking the same things, the definition of insanity, the same thing over and over, I'm not your person. Go talk to somebody else for another opinion.
I'll still love you when you're done with your episode. Just leave me the fuck alone during your episode. But go to one of your more sympathetic friends. But and I know that I am of the Dr. Phil variety of psychology. I'm like,
tough love.
How's that fucking working for you? Like, it is. It is.
Yeah. Well, you and I feel the same, because we talked about this before. Like, when we feel bad sometimes when people want to be sympathetic. Like, I think you and I both said when we're throwing up, we don't want anybody to touch us. Leave us alone.
I hate.
Don't come to me. Don't hold my hair. Don't touch and rub my back. Just let me throw up and let me be.
Well, and even like if one of my parents dies, or when, that will happen at some point, when one of my parents dies, I don't want you coming and sitting with me and send me a card that says, "Oh shit, that sucks."
Yeah.
I think I did that. Eric, are you still on? I think when your mom died, I might have sent you a note that said, "Well, fuck," or something like that. Like, that was like just injecting something else into it. But just and sometimes I'll go quiet. Sometimes I just need to cry all by myself for a few minutes, and then Sally Field is like, no.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the thing is that the crutch is also the thing I don't like. So I don't like that either, when people feel like they have to fill the silence or say something to me or say something to help me, because it's void. I'm not going to hear it. But at the same time, I'm that idiot that when I'm met with a situation and I'm not prepared, and I'm in a situation like that, I do the same thing. I fumble and try to fill the silence, and I'm like, I suck at it. I can't do it.
I am very guilty of not, like, if someone has a loss or whatever, of not calling, not making a phone call, because I hate that personally.
Yes.
You know what happens? If I have a great loss and I let you know about it, I'm just letting you know about it.
Yep.
I do not want 36 hours straight of phone calls from people saying,
checking on me,
so sorry about it or whatever. I mean, you're welcome to leave a nice potato au gratin at the front door, or casserole or something.
Funeral potatoes. Funeral potatoes would be much appreciated.
With the food deliveries, but and booze even as well.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I just need the time, and I'm not going to keep track. Like, I know some people who are like, well, he didn't call me when my mother died. I'm like, I will never be that person. I do not. Because
that's a victim, and that's passive aggressiveness, and I do not respond to that well at all.
Also, I don't hold a grudge for shit. That is, I think, the key to both of to my marriage. Neither Todd nor I can hold a grudge, period. And so that is fine. Here's the thing, and I learned this from my mother, for better or for worse, and she's saying she feels the same about not wanting all the calls and stuff. Most of this, I think this is Mama incarnate here, but if you have fucked up so bad that I need you to be gone, I just take a big eraser, and you are no longer a guest on the Cooped show. Like that, like you're gone. You're not on the cast list. IMDb has erased you from the database. Like it is because the opposite of hate isn't love, or love isn't hate. The opposite of love is indifference. I go to that place. Like if you have crossed a line with me, and that line is like Siberia from here.
Yeah.
Once you have crossed that line, it's like done, erased, gone. Turn the lights off, close the curtains, lock the door. It's over. Show's over.
So you're better at that than me. Sometimes I'm always like, so for me to let people in, it's a close knit group. Like there are people that like more the merrier, and they have all these different kinds of relationships with other kind of people. I don't have the mind space to keep up with that, so I keep a very close knit circle. So if I've let you in, it's almost like a failure to me. Like if it's just waned or gone the other way, I'm almost like, oh God, like it's not, I've let that person in and now it's not what I thought it was going to be. And,
I subscribe to the seasons of life theory.
It's true. I should be more adoptive of that.
This is a super Oprah episode. Michelle, you're in at the moment that we're getting extra deep here. Like I'm about seasons of life. Like people are in your life for a reason. And sometimes that reason is to help you through one thing. Sometimes that reason is to help you through 10 things. Sometimes that reason is to be with you forever, right? Yeah. And sometimes it doesn't happen early in life. Sometimes it does, right? And so, like I've only known you, Kerrie, since I've had kids. So I've known you 10 years at this point, probably. Yeah. But it feels like
2010.
Forever. I mean, sometimes it feels like forever. But but so, and then also like
what is the saying, reason seasons? Like some people in your life for a reason, some are in for a season. There's something about that, right?
And then the other thing is like I forgive so easily because I just don't have the energy to be mad at people about stuff.
You're much better at that than me. It's not that I want to hold a grudge. When you were saying that earlier about grudges, it's not grudges. It's just that I feel so disappointed either in myself for letting the person in and do that to me, or in the person for not being a bigger person. It's one or the other.
Well, and then also people, we all have people in our lives who are just bitches, just big ass bitches. And I have some friends who are like, oh, sure what they did to me. And I'm like, why are you surprised by that? She's a bitch. He's a bitch. Like, why does that surprise you? I was like,
Mark said,
we're not here for that. So just let that go and enjoy the other stuff.
I tend to be a caretaker because what I do is I overcompensate for where I'm not compassionate, maybe from mind and words. I'll compensate with caretaking. So like cooking, running an errand, whatever. And maybe that's acts of service. I don't know. Because I'd rather do something like that than figure out what the fuck I'm supposed to say to you in an awkward situation. So
worse, I'm like, they're there.
Yeah, they're there. Mm-hmm. Because to me, I can't fake it. And if I do fake it, I feel like someone's going to know. So I'll just try to figure out something. Like, I'll bake you a casserole. Everyone knows this about me. I'm probably going to bring you a casserole or fluff. If a person or a dog dies in your life, it's just going to happen. Cookies, something. So I get to where, what was I going to say? You were talking about, what was I going to say? Oh, so more caretaker in that way. And I get to where I hold on to people and things because I guess I feel like I've invested in it. And so I want to save it. And like a couple months ago, I was texting with Mark, and Mark said to me, "You can't save everybody, Kerrie." And I was like, wow, okay, got it.
Exactly.
Like he's different. So he's like, you can't save everybody. And I was like, he's right. Cause that's what I do is I try to save. And if it starts waning, I try to save the investment. I'm all about the investment. Right. Yeah. So
sometimes you have to cut your losses though. There's a reason that phrase exists as well.
It's true. And I'm trying to get better at that. I think COVID is that's one of the things I've written down on my card that like COVID's made me think about, because people talk about all this time they had to think. I didn't really have a lot of time to think, but I had so much more going on in my head. It forced a lot of other things either out or forward.
Yeah.
So all the memes and everything about giving yourself grace to that point and not holding on to things and grudges or people that don't serve you. I'm like, absolutely. It's gone. Whether it's a turtleneck or a person. I don't got time for it anymore.
Ah,
Bye. I don't got time. If you're a user, if you don't give back, and if you aren't contributing, and all you're doing is being passive aggressive or complaining, I don't
you've
have
got
time
someone
for it
worried
anymore.
now.
What? Oh, I need to look at my screen. Are you trying to quit me? I was like, what? No, Pam knows what I'm talking about too, because she's also gotten frustrated at the time. Like, I think it's just made me, I just don't have the patience or the time, or I just really don't have the empathy or the gumption to really like tolerate a lot, because I guess I've got so much going on with work and just trying to hold together a personal life in the first place, right?
Well, and that all makes. I'm going to correct you a little bit on that. You're like, I don't have the fill in the blank that it takes. You're still putting a burden on yourself with that.
I know.
Like
That's horrible.
That is not your problem.
That's exactly. I need to just let go of things that are not my problem. It's not my fucking problem.
That is not your problem.
Yeah.
Let them spin out, and then if they spin out and didn't do too much destruction, I'm all about. So, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, life-changing course that I took a million years ago, like 1998. Still apply the fantastic book. I took a course in it though, and all that stuff. One of the things about it is, I just lost my total train of thought.
The 7 habits of.
I know.
Spin out. You said spin out.
No, about fuck. God,
you were saying let people spin out.
Oh,
you'll come back to them.
The concept of emotional bank accounts. So every human connection between two people has an emotional bank account.
Yep.
Between those, that motion. So you spend a lot of your time building up that emotional bank account.
Yep.
Occasionally, you have to make withdrawals from it, whether that be sliding them, being a little crazy, not showing up for something, whatever. You have to always hope that you don't overdraw that account, or just don't even bring the account low enough where it's not worth it to have that account, right? You need to keep that emotional bank account balance high, knowing that it is a fluctuating balance, but you hope it doesn't get so low. That is, I think, such an important thing that people.
It's so smart, because what's happening sometimes is people will ride in a deficit and I let them slide. It's time to close that bank account. You've been riding into deficit for a long time.
This is the soul cooped up. Yes, it is very much, Aaron. Yes,
No, you're right. You're right that I don't. Yeah, it's a thing. I think it's because the investment for me, and it's like I hate to see the investment go, but I should let it go for the benefit of me no longer having to think about the investment. What would Oprah do? And also not having to think about the person's lack of investment on the other side, right? Yeah. Why am I continuing to deposit in that account that doesn't serve me?
Yes. Why am I doing business with these people? Emotional business.
So true, people. If you take anything away from this one today, it's
a very special, deep episode. Somehow we started talking about The Bachelor coming out and skinny jeans, and we ended up talking about relationships and empathy and all that kind of stuff.
Well, because we talked about Bobby Brown.
What a
Bobby.
Well, and that's actually funny. Full circle moment here. The way this episode of the Red Table Talk ended is they were like, Jada Pinkett Smith says to him at one point, she's like, "I've known you for years. Is at your wedding or baby shower or whatever." She was like, this is the most sober, like pun not intended, conversation I have ever had with you. Like, it was like, you are not a caricature right now. You are actually like a decent. I mean, I felt better about him after this.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch it.
It was good. It was good. And as the years go by, we learn things about Whitney that we did not like. But that's what all I think.
Keep in mind, if you've watched any of the documentaries or done any of your own research, all the things all the things that she went through in life and all those things that happened, and Bobby, the whole thing could have probably, a lot of it, been negated if she was just honest and told her family, "I'm a lesbian." And Robin, is that her name?
Full circle from The Bachelor to Whitney.
The real person who got screwed and all of that shit was Robin, and she had the most grace of anyone to not talk about it. And to this day, she's really not talked about it. So
And
But
didn't they
they
have
were in love.
something that came out recently that I didn't see it?
Yeah, she had something where she participated in a book or brought out a book or something, but she doesn't really give too much detail, I don't think. But
And you know, that sort of thing, not living your authentic self, your true life, who you are, that is a toxic thing. And you
yeah.
can spin out, and you know, I mean, just in daily life, if you have a shitty job, you start acting in ways that aren't you because
Yes.
you're coping and short-circuiting and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, it's a same thing about compensating and not being a true person in an emotional relationship or friendship or whatever it might be. You can't be different people, a different person to different people, you
yeah.
know? If you are setting that up and you are keeping all these things siloed, first of all, that's exhausting to me. I don't know how
Yeah.
people do it, but you can't you don't have any identity, right? And I
Well,
think that obviously when you become a celebrity, it's magnified, right? So I think that and Whitney just been honest with herself and her family.
yeah. Well, Dolly Parton, you know, can't not have a Dolly Parton comment here too. She says that there are three. Every person is actually three people: the person they think they are, the person other people think they are, and the person they really are. And the goal in your life is to try to get all three of those to line up together.
Yeah.
So, all
I
righty.
like that.
Well, it's time to go. This is
Yeah, it's time to go.
very. Thank you for joining me on this very special episode. Hey, I'm still on, y'all. I'm trying to
Go
wrap.
away.
It's
Go away,
a
children.
high emotional moment. Y'all ruin it like you always.
We're talking about adult things. Grown up time. Grown up time.
All righty. Well, with that, I love you. It's important to know you are loved.
Love you.
I will even love you if you're a crazy ass bitch. Just don't call me. I'll love you afterwards. And this one particularly felt like therapy. So thank y'all for that. And I will see thank you, Kerrie. I will see everyone else
Thank you.
at 4:30, and that will be my last one for the week. I'm not going to be here on Friday, as a reminder, because we'll be on the road. I need to do something from Gracie at some point. You haven't seen her.
That's right.
Mason was like, "It's Sir Edward." Mason wants to name the RV Sir Edward. Gracie.
It's not your show, kid.
No, not your show. Get your own show. You don't have internet during the week. He's like, I can't. So, all righty. Well, I will see y'all later. Talk to you later. Bye.